Welcome to The Good Pod, where today we're talking season 4, episode 1 of The Good Wife. I'm one of your hosts, Jason Reed. With me, as always, the one, the only, Marissa Garza. Marissa, you good?
I'm great, Jason. It's a new season of The Good Wife. I'm great. Are you good? Great. Are you?
I'm
Where are you
good.
on the good great spectrum?
I'm good. I'm happy and good that we're in season 4 now. It's a new world. We are ready to fight the power, fight for justice, fight against the fight against the epidemic that is the profiling of young white men.
Yeah,
Right?
no kidding. I'm so glad. I'm so glad we got there. You know, like it's been needing to be addressed in media.
I'm so glad
for real.
somebody finally is addressing the issue of profiling young white men in America.
There's so much to say. So much to say about that one.
Yeah. But yeah, we're in season 4. New world, new time. We're seeing what's forming this new season, getting new characters, getting new plot lines. I'm happy to be in this season 4 world with you, Marissa.
I'm happy to be here with you, Jason, because, you know, this is a little slice of happy times in 2025.
For sure. So before we get into all the newness of season 4, we want to remind you of some free and easy ways you can help this podcast. You can do that by reviewing, rating, and subscribing wherever it is you're listening or watching. It really helps us get into the eyes and ears of more listeners out there that are interested in this kind of content. You can also help us monetarily, if you so choose, over on buymeacoffee.com. You can go there at buymeacoffee.com/goodpod and donate any amount of funds that you wish to go to us in creating the podcast and helping us expand the podcast as you so choose. So whoever chooses to do whatever of those options, we always thank you so very much. You are the lifeblood of this podcast that helps us go week in and week out, because without you, we would be talking into a void. So thank you, as always, for listening and watching.
Yeah, I mean, we would probably talk about the show still, Jason, but it definitely would be fun without everybody else.
Yeah, we would record it. Maybe we would just like get together every week and say, you know, it'd be like a TV show club, right? Like, you know, like a book club, it'd be a TV show club.
Yeah, it's basically what this is. But I'm so glad that like we have peeps in our corner that are helping us out because Elizabeth is coming back in October, so the Good Verse will be at least on network television yet again, and we're happy to be there for those peeps as well.
Yeah, for sure. So now that we've gotten all the housekeeping out of the way, Marissa, let's dive into this episode. I know you want to talk about some of where we are in the world and in society at the time this episode is airing. So why don't you dive into that?
Thank you. Okay, so season 4 airs from September 2012 to April 2013. And I just thought it'd be great if we had some recollection around like what's going on around those times, because the show will probably address many of those things. And also
either directly or indirectly.
Yeah, and it will give us like a little context when we're looking at episodes. Maybe this one in particular. So in U.S. politics and society, we had the 2012 presidential election. Barack Obama was reelected. Oh, happy times. Remember, just like a moment. Also, unfortunately, that was the time of Hurricane Sandy, the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, and the Boston Marathon bombing.
Bad times for Sandys.
Yeah. No bueno for Sandys. Going on around the world, we had a financial crisis in Greece. Do you remember that time where everyone was like, Greece is falling apart? Mm-hmm. Greece and Spain and Cyprus, they were falling apart. Pope Benedict was like, peace out, I'm done. Later.
Yeah, the first person to be like, you know, this isn't a lifelong appointmentship, I don't think. I think I'm just gonna cut it early.
Yeah, I talked to God, and he's like, you can go. You're good. You're good.
Yeah, I did my time. Me and God are here with it. And he's like, you know what? You've done good. You can just go ahead and rest. I was like, okay, yeah, I'd rather not die being Pope. I just like to enjoy, my later
retirement with my little red shoes. I think that's fine.
Has he passed yet?
I don't think so. I think he's still around, but he's definitely exiled-ish from the church. He was not like he probably would be a fan of what's happening in the US these days, if you catch my drift.
Oh my.
So he's not around, but I can't remember if he died because I just tried to ignore everything about him while he was.
I mean, I have to admit, I'm not really ever up on the
The
Popal
Catholic
news.
goings
Yeah,
on.
I don't really pay that much attention to it unless there's like something huge happening. So I'm not like too up on the news of the Pope and ships, if wherever you want to go.
I mean, well, the Pope is from Chicago now, and that's all that matters.
I
So,
know that dude passed away in December of 2022.
oh well, okay. Sorry, Pope Benedict, but also not. But also, your red Prada shoes will never be forgotten. Uh, also going on in the world, North Korea tensions were rising. Remember when that was like the scariest thing that we had to worry about? Was like, hey, over there was some stuff going on.
So it pops up every now and then in these times.
Yeah, every now and then. Also in pop culture, we had Gangnam Style. Speaking of North Korea, of Korea in general, yeah, that was the time. That was the time. I love when songs like that take over the world, like when Blue Dabba Diba Dabba Diba Doo came
Oh
around.
yeah,
You
da
know,
booty da boo da booty da
yeah,
boo.
it's just like these little
That
slices of time.
took over my childhood back then. And Gangnam Style was definitely like I don't remember nothing about no Pope stuff, but I do remember Gangnam Style. Ain't not no Gangnam Style. Ooh. Yeah.
And the Swifties out there will know that Red came out in 2012, so that was a thing that was everywhere. And on the Best Picture front at the movies, we had Les Miserables with good old Russell Crowe singing along, and the movie Argo, which actually was pretty good and won. So that was what was going on in pop culture and television. We had season 5 of Breaking Bad. House of Cards premiered in February of 2013, so a couple months after this the episode of The Good Wife that we're going to talking about. I remember House of Cards. House of Cards was like the Game of Thrones for political people, and also it would always release like on Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that. I mean, now it's Love Is Blind. Back then, it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
House of Cards. I remember House of Cards as being like the gateway for normies to get into political stuff because
Yes.
like that was part of my like journey into like like politics is a thing and like in this instance it's entertaining and crazy and weird
And
because
then
I had a
Kevin Spacey
stranglehold.
ruined it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. House of Cards definitely had a stranglehold on America for a while. It was, I think House of Cards is one of those. I mean, that was when Netflix was the space for like prestige TV. There was like no other place to go prestige other than Netflix in that
Well,
time.
it was like their
Maybe
first
HBO.
original too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they came out the gate. Like, here
and
you
that was like
go.
it was like the introduction to like and you say in our notes here like signaling the streaming era. It was like
Yeah.
one of the things to be like, oh wow, they can do this on a thing like Netflix. So weird to us because
Well, and people would get excited about it and they would talk about it and
yeah,
it would have the same sort of like HBO Sunday night feeling.
yeah. In 2013, people were still exchanging physical DVDs with Netflix. Sending them out. Because yes, children, anyone that's under like I don't know 30 years old listening to this or watching this, we used to get DVDs in the mail from Netflix, watch them, package them back up, and send them back in to exchange them with more physical DVDs. You had to wait a couple days to get those DVDs back.
Like
That
a
was how we used to
library.
watch. Yeah, that was how we used to digest media back in the day.
It was great. It was a glory time. It was
Listen,
fantastic.
as someone that in the beginning of Netflix, right? I was someone who was working at Blockbuster. That was my
Oh yeah,
job.
that sucked. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like, oh, like shit, like this is the end because this thing called Netflix is coming in and letting people exchange movies through the mail,
Yes.
and it was like, sorry, just personal tangent, just experiencing that era of things changing with Blockbuster not being the ish anymore. Blockbuster trying to compete with Netflix by doing their own DVD
Yeah,
mail
they did.
system
Yep.
where people could come into Blockbuster with the mailed in DVDs from Blockbuster, exchange them for a physical DVD in the store, which you would think would be so much better than Netflix, but no, it didn't work. It just didn't work. It really did. So that
Although
was a
Blockbuster could do the funniest thing right now. Like they could come back, and I am sure the people would flock to it.
yeah, possibly. I think it's yeah, it was such a time back then. Uh, it just sparked so many memories in me. But yeah, like Netflix is the progenitor of like streaming services. I think some
Yeah,
people forget or didn't even realize that was the thing.
that they were the first. Also on TV, we had the Downton Abbey season 3 premiering, causing lots of discussions and things, and also, tangentially paving the way for the Gilded Age for Christine
Mhm.
Baranski, but just a little bit earlier. Over in technology, we had Facebook hit 1 billion users. We had Instagram being acquired by Facebook, which should have been a sign. And then we also had Edward Snowden and his NSA leaks. And then iPhone 5. We are on iPhone 17. And in 2020 or in 2012, iPhone 5 launched. Also, 2012 was a year that people are very scared of that the world was going to end. So we can relate to that as well here in 2025.
Yeah. Listen, we just survived the rapture. That was supposed to happen last
Yeah,
week.
exactly.
So,
Yeah. We're doing okay. We're doing okay. So that's the scene in which this season will be taking place in. That's what's going on in the world around the people who would be watching this in real time. Us here in 2025, we're just gonna walk through this episode, first episode of season 4. At the beginning, we have Kalinda, her alter ego, Kalinda Wick, sitting in
yeah.
her apartment that has nothing in it, and a guy comes, opens the door, and it's Bill. Bill's here, and he's here to say like he misses you, Kalinda. He wants you back. And she's like, cool, I got a gun. Basically, like, cool. Don't do anything. And he tries to come in and he tries to like get something out of his jacket, which Kalinda of course stops and says, like, don't do it. I will shoot your hand. And then the phone rings and Bill says, he'll get angry if I don't answer. And there's this kerfuffle, and it ends up with Kalinda sledgehammering Bill's hand and picking up the phone.
Yeah, like, and I mentioned it last week when we were just getting introduced
Yeah.
to the Kalinda Wick side of Kalinda. It's just like, really, this is what we're gonna
Yep.
do? Like,
Yep.
Kalinda's sledgehammering people's hands and getting into fights and pulling guns on people. I'm like, it was great when we had the mystique of Kalinda, right? Like, we know that Kalinda's a badass. We know that Kalinda's done badass things, but actually seeing it in action is like, I just don't feel like it belongs here on The Good Wife.
I would have enjoyed a different way to get to know different parts of Kalinda. Like I understand that the show is probably like, well, she's been a mystery for 3 seasons. We got to do something. This just wasn't my favorite way to accomplish that task.
Yeah, I mean, this scene and a scene coming up is just like, really,
Yeah.
this is what we're doing here. Okay,
Yeah.
great. But yeah, I think when we heard the knock at the end of last season, we were like, oh, here's the husband. But no, this is Bill, a husband's henchman, who's
Yes.
coming in and threatening Kalinda with like, he misses you. He doesn't even care about the money. He just wants you back. It's like, okay, like, this guy is apparently dangerous. We already kind of knew that. Kalinda pistol whips this guy and sledgehammers his hand. It's like, all right, it's getting into weird territory here.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Alicia and the kids are on a road trip. Okay. This is I'm going to get on a little bit of an Illinois geography soapbox on this one, but stay with me at the beginning. So Alicia and the kids are on a road trip, and the song being played is Makabalaka in the background.
According to closed captioning, the song is Mother Clucka. It's basically just a bunch of clucking from a chicken, which, I don't know
Kids are
why that
good.
would appeal to anyone, but kids are going to be kids, right? Like,
We just
being
talked
weird
about
things.
Blue and Gangnam Style, so
Very true. Very true. It does not have to make sense to be popular and viral.
Correct. Alicia is asleep in the back seat, and Zach is driving, and he gets pulled over. And first of all, first red flag in this situation. First of all, let's meet Officer Rob before I go into any rants. Officer Rob is played by Matthew Del Negro, who I know from Scandal and The West Wing, but he also was in The Sopranos and Goliath and City on a Hill and United States of Terror. So he has been around.
I didn't even know he was a guy to look up. I did not look him up in our star research. Didn't think he was a known person, but you peeled it off right off the top of your head.
No, I looked it up on IMDb because I was like, it's that guy. Who's that guy?
I've never seen that
He was,
guy. I wasn't even aware of that guy.
he didn't. It didn't that guy you. But Officer Rob, okay, pulls over Zach and then says to Zach, okay. This is a PSA for everyone. If a cop ever tells you to get out of a car so that he can tell you why they pulled you over, do not do it. I am very surprised that Zach was like, okay, and Alicia was like, okay, like, go ahead. I was baffled by this whole thing, but he pulls him out and basically said, like, has a conversation, and Alicia's like, oh, maybe I should go, hear what's going on. And Officer Rob talks to Alicia after he talks to Zach. It's like, oh, he seemed worried. Like, I pulled him over because he braked and then sped up. And I just wanted to make sure everything okay. It seemed like he was worried. Alicia's like, no, he's not worried. Officer Rob's like, you were asleep. So how would you know? I have my canine here. Why don't we just do a search to make sure? Like,
yeah, I think Alicia's thought process, I think maybe it's a thought process of a lawyer, of being like,
yeah,
I know we didn't do anything wrong. The law is going to protect us. So just go ahead and do what he says because nothing's wrong. Let's just get this over with, take our ticket and do whatever because we are obeying the law. So what could happen to us? Which is like,
and because that's her white privilege coming in.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, yeah, Alicia, that is the way it should work. You should be fine because you did nothing wrong. But sometimes it doesn't really work out that way, Alicia. You sweet innocent baby child woman. And this, I don't know if I want to call it tone deaf. What I want to call this on the just from the viewpoint of like the creators of the show, the writers of the show, because for Alicia to be like, are we being profiled? Like, sweetie, Alicia, like,
especially in 2012, that was like in the zeitgeist. Like like people knew what profiling meant.
Yeah, this isn't a new issue. This is the 2025 issue. This was still an issue in 2012. Yeah. So I know that I know this is how they wanted to introduce this and make this a part of the Peter storyline, makes it a part of everything. But I feel like it was a little, I think tone deaf is a good word for it.
They didn't need it. It didn't help the story at all.
You could have done it in so many different ways to make this type of issue, but to do it this way, it was just like, oof. Like for this white family to be like, but we're being profiled. It's like, as a black man watching it,
I thought
it just hits me, makes you go, okay.
And her reasoning, like, it was like, okay, she said profiling, and then Rob, of course, what? And she says, you saw two teenagers driving a car, and I was like, that only works in the mall. Like, that's like.
I was like, oh, okay. Like I said, it just struck me. It was like, yeah, okay, yeah, great. But yeah, it was rather shifty. The whole thing was rather weird.
Yeah,
and like I said, I do think Alicia's privilege as not only a white woman but as a lawyer to be like,
yes, absolutely,
we'll be fine. Like,
well, yeah, because this discussion that happens outside or on the side of the road with the kids, like, of course, Grace is like, this is a police station. Like, she's automatically like, Grace would be on the front lines today. I have a feeling she would be there. She's like, this is the police state. And Zach's like, why don't we just use Dad's name? And Alicia's like, no, this is Madison County. This is in Cook County. We don't use Dad's name. You use Dad's name? we use the law. And like, then Grace is like, how do we use the law?
Yeah, it's like, because Alicia's like, wait a minute, you use your dad's name to like get out of stuff, which again is like, what stuff are you getting into that you have to use your dad's name? But I think it's more of like a privilege thing. Like, don't you know who my father is?
Yeah.
I would imagine like we've seen Peter use his own name for things.
Yeah.
I would imagine that if Grace gets like a 95 on a paper, she's like, my dad would be so upset, the state's attorney, if I didn't get like 100 on this paper. I'm just saying. So maybe that's how they use dad's name, because I like how great, like, they're like, well, you say you were going to use the law, Mom, but how would we as children use the law? Like, I have my dad's name. It's nothing I can use the law for. I can use my dad's name to do and get into stuff.
And just a little geographical aside, Madison County, Illinois. There's Madison County, Wisconsin, which is strangely closer to Chicago than Madison County, Illinois. Madison County, Illinois is outside of St. Louis on the other side of the Mississippi from St. Louis, and it is 5+ hours to get from Chicago to Madison County. So just like keep that in mind as we're going through the logistics of this episode.
There's so much back and forth from our home to Madison County.
Yeah, it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Now, there's a lot of Madison counties in America.
There were bridges of Madison.
Yeah, I was wondering, is the bridges of Madison County from this Madison? No, it's a different Madison County. Okay, yeah, different Madison County. Yeah, that's the only Madison County. When you say Madison County, it's the only thing I think of. I've never watched the movie Bridges of Madison County. I couldn't tell you what the movie Bridges of Madison County is or what it's about. But that for some reason, that's a name for almost my whole life has stuck in my head. Bridges of Madison County. I've heard the name so many times, but no idea what it is, what the movie's about, who's in it, nothing about it.
It's a Clint Eastwood film, and it's very, I don't know, because I haven't watched it.
Yeah, Bridges of Madison. For some reason, that movie title is always stuck in my head.
So Alicia's like, yeah, we're going to use the law. And she picks up the phone and calls her new BFF, Carrie.
So here's the thing, right? She's like, we're not going to use dad's name. We're not going to use dad's privilege. I'm going to use my own privilege.
If we're using any privilege, it's going to be mine.
Right. I would use my own privilege and call my person in the states that was in the state's attorney's office, use my privilege to use his privilege to get this information, get this stuff that any other quote unquote normal citizen or normal person,
we would not have these options.
You wouldn't have these resources. So like she just lectured the kids on not using their privilege, and she's like, I'm going to use my privilege now.
Hold on, I just gotta use my privilege real quick. Hey, Carrie. Yeah.
Which, like, listen, if you have privilege and resources,
use it. But like, aware that you're using it.
Yeah, be aware you're using it. Don't lecture people at using their privilege, then use your privilege. Yes. Like, okay, like if we're gonna use privilege, let's use privilege and not like shame others for doing it, and then just do it yourself. It's like, okay, cool. Yeah, it was
agreed.
Weird.
So she's like, hey, Carrie, can we get the dashboard or the dash cam footage from this police officer? Here's the plates in Madison County. And Carrie's like, okay, sure. We'll figure that out. And then, oh yeah, P.S. by the way, Eli's looking for you for an interview. And she's like, yeah. Over in Diane and Will's offices, David is basically saying, oh, I'm out and I'm suing you because you lost my money. So I'm going to sue you. It's time for you to own this bankruptcy or do something about it. And at this time, Carrie is like kind of walking by and he's like, great timing to be back. It was fantastic.
I came just in time for everything to be crashing down around me. Cool.
Back on the side of the road, back at the search, Officer Rob does take his canine and is walking around the car. In the front of the car, we see some scratching and hear some barking from the dog. And so he's like, hey, that's probable cause for me to go search the entire car. I've given your son one more out to let us know if he has any drugs. And she's like, no, if you're going to search, do the search, calls Eli and says, I'm going to be late. Meanwhile, over on Peter's bus, because we are in bus time now for racing, he is being interviewed by Peggy. Speaking of the West Wing, who is Peggy, Jason?
Kristen Chenoweth, who a lot of people will know from Wicked. Apparently from Marissa's Cues, apparently also in the West Wing. No, I did not do a deep dive on Kristen Chenoweth.
It's okay.
Kristen Chenoweth is just like, she's known. She's like a known.
She's known. Yeah. She's also known for recent comments if you want to look those up. Yeah, but she is here playing a reporter, Peggy, and is showing Peter an ad by our good friend Mike Christiva. And Mike Christiva's ad is very Mike Christiva.
Yeah, using his cancer-stricken child as a prop for his campaign. Gotta love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. It's like his kid is there, like without hair, which is what cancer patient. I'm not saying anything about cancer patients, but he is using his kid in a prop for this. And he's sitting on the side. He's like, Dad asked me if I should run. And I said, yeah, because he takes good care of me, cancer patient. So he'll take care of everyone in Illinois. It's just like,
Barf.
ugh, okay, fine. But apparently, like, this does make sense from like a political strategy point because the separation's out there. Like, it's in that deposition. People know, Peggy knows about this while she's sitting here showing this ad to Peter. And so he's really leaning in on family values. And Peter's response to this is like, look, when it gets to Christiva, we can talk about Christiva, but right now I'm just focused on the nomination. So let me do that. And Peggy's like, you're basically in. Why are you even doing this? Like, well, talk to me in 4 months and we can talk about my Christiva. So yeah, he is not going away. Back at the search site, Officer Rob finds quote unquote shake under the seat. Okay, first of all, also in this whole thing, we learned that this is Owen's car, right?
Yeah.
And Zach bought this car from Uncle Owen. And so in my mind, I'm like, oh, maybe Uncle Owen.
Well, I mean, listen, we know Owen, right? We know
Yeah.
it's definitely possible, definitely probable that Owen was smoking a joint in this car, just like threw it somewhere or whatever. So yeah, you got me. There's probably some. I'm not a drug person whatsoever, like at all. I don't know what shake is. I guess it's some sort of like after effect of marijuana that could tell you there's marijuana in the car, I guess. But yeah, so no surprise that this might be in Owen's a car previously owned by Owen's thing. But from what I can understand, it's negligible amount of any type
Yeah.
of drug.
Yeah. So Officer Rob's like, I'm just gonna give you a ticket and a warning and let you go. And then he turns to look at Zach and he's like, what's that? What are you doing? Is that? And he's like, it's an iPhone. is it set to record? Yeah. Well, it is illegal in the state of Illinois to videotape law officers. You have to get rid of the recording. And this whole time, Officer Rob is calling Zach son, which really like pissed me off. I was like, what is with this? And Zach's like, okay, cool, I'll get rid of it. Swoosh. I emailed it to myself.
Oh. I just love the choreography of this scene where Lex like, oh yeah, I'm recording. Yeah, let me get rid of it. Meanwhile, Alicia's looking on, and as you hear the, which is a sound that everyone knows, the look on everyone's faces is like priceless. Zach is one of defiance. Grace, Alicia are ones of like shock. Alicia especially be like, he just made this like 10 times.
Yeah.
Alicia's posture in this moment is just like, all right, let's just get this
get through it. Like
out of the way.
Yeah.
Get through it. But Zach is in full fight the power mode, which is, hey, good on him. I love a good fight against the power stance. Zach has messages to someone. Officer Rob is pissed. He's like, did you just email that? Did you just email that to somebody? That's the sound the emails make. He just emailed that. He's like, yeah, I did, and one of it. And he takes Zach in to, I guess, arrest him rather gently because he's Zach.
He's Zach. Exactly. Over in court, Diane is there to settle bankruptcy, to talk about the firm and their financial situation. We learn that Will is 1 week away from his suspension being over at this point in the episode. And
the timeline of this episode was really weird because we immediately pick up with Kalinda, like the moment we left the season 3 finale. Then we're with Alicia, who
has new hair.
She's gotten a glow sideways. I don't know if I would call it a glow up. It's more of a glow sideways.
Agreed.
It's just a part of the hair in a different part of her head, which is which as we know, all these Alicia hairstyles are all wigs, right? They're like she's never, because Juliana Margulies has naturally very like curly hair. She always wears wigs as Alicia because Alicia has to be this like extremely like waspy woman. She just can't have curly hair, which is like a little like behind the scenes tidbit of like what has to go into playing Alicia. So that's interesting. So she got to glow sideways, but I
Like
don't know.
Carol on ER could be
Yeah.
curly hair. Alicia, no
Yes.
curly hair.
Yes, for sure. So I'm not sure what, like, from the time of the Kalinda door knocking to the Alicia car ride, I don't know how much time has been like
Do you think
spent.
Kalinda sat there like in that chair for like 5 days? Like
Yeah,
15
maybe.
days?
Maybe. It's like
And
I
like
thought,
she didn't eat and she just sat there and hopefully she went to the bathroom. I don't know, but
yeah.
like
I hope he shows up soon. I thought he'd be here by now, but I've been here for
yeah,
a while.
sitting
But
in the
yeah,
dark with my gun.
yeah, I don't know when this Will and Diane bankruptcy court. I don't know how far from.
We were not in this.
What do you mean?
Hold on.
Yeah, so I don't know from time, like where are we? How long ago was the season 3 finale to now? I would guess like a week, 2 weeks, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very confusing because also last episode on the financial front, we just heard, oh, there's a balloon payment. We didn't hear we're $6 million in debt and facing bankruptcy. Like that was not at least our knowledge. So Diane is there, Will's behind the partition because he is not a lawyer right now, but also Carrie's in the room, and then Alicia comes. I don't know why everybody has to be here.
Yeah, I wasn't sure like why is this a all hands on deck court filing? I thought at the very least the name partners should be here. I don't know why the two third years are here, other than they are officially, I guess, Will and Diane's sidekicks.
They're like, yeah, or like their proteges, like their mini
Yeah,
me's.
maybe. It's like, this is interesting. Why is everyone here?
Well, but Alicia really doesn't care because she goes right up to Carrie and is like, "Oh my god, this is what happened with my son. They were shaking the car, and he got a felony notice to appear, and the charge is eavesdropping." And Carrie's like, "This is a joke. Like this is what they say when they can't find anything. They're not going to really pursue this." And Alicia's like, "Yeah, but he could get 4 to 15 years, and he's trying to apply for colleges." And all of a sudden, Carrie's like, "Okay, fine." Like, I'll call someone. I'm sure this cop just wanted to like make a message out of it.
Yeah, this was so interesting to show kind of the relationship that Alicia and Carrie have right now, because Alicia's like kikiing with Zach. Not Zach, with Carrie. She's like, oh my god, like there's so much going on, and Carrie's like, oh my god, for real? Like where's Zach right now? Like what's going on right now? He's like he's fine. He's at home. He's like we have to take care of this. He's like, I got it, Alicia. I got it. I'll call someone. It's like, wow, you guys are like real like friends now. You guys are like girlfriends. Get it, girl.
We do love that. I do love that. It's always
Yeah.
fun. In court, the plan that is being presented by Diane is not accepted because while it does address the financial parts of things, it's not necessarily addressing the managerial things that got these financial things in order.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you for saying what we were all thinking. Y'all are terrible at money management because this is happening way too often. You guys are in so much money. You guys, illustrated by this very thing, you guys seem fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Until all of a sudden we turn around like, oh, we're out of money. What happened? I don't know. Weren't you supposed to be in charge of the money? No, I thought you were in charge of the money. Who was looking at the books? Apparently, we have no accountants here. So I like the judge calling them off like there are huge management issues here that's really contributing to this money issue. And Dan's like, yeah, but we're management. Yeah.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Diane. Yeah, we're looking at you. We're talking about you and Will just frivolously spending money on whatever. So
on people, on whatever,
without taking into account, like, without having plans, without having like contingencies, because Dan's like, yeah, bro, like we just got people that don't want to pay. We got this other guy, Patrick Edelstein, who's not trying to be our client no more. So like just stuff happened. You know what I mean? Like really just the dog ate my homework excuses of like, hey, like things happens. I don't know what to tell you. It's like, no, like you have a management problem because you shouldn't, like, one or two things going wrong should not sink your firm to go into bankruptcy, because that's where we're at now. So yeah, I did like the judge like taking them to task a little bit. Be like, nah, this is on you. Like this is, you can give me all the excuses in the world you want. This is on you.
Yeah, like there's no hiding this time. Like you're gonna be held accountable.
Mm-hmm.
So they're walking back into the office. They're like, I don't know why we have to be punished. Blah blah blah. Oh, hey, Carrie and Alicia, can you like talk to this new client. It's not one of our like best clients. And if we weren't in the situation, we'd probably just check the case, but we need you to go talk to this guy.
Diane and Will are in such like annoyed territory. Like, I don't know, just you take this, guys. You little sidekicks. You take this little itty bitty case. We are just so upset about this whole thing. We can't even talk to this new client. You guys take it, which is like, I would love like a fictional hierarchy chart of like where Alicia and Carrie are actually in the organization. Because it seems like they are right under Will and Diane, which is like, I don't think is true. Like, they are
Well,
30-year associates. There are other people I think that should be
like
higher than them,
Julius and
like Julius.
David.
Yeah, that are like, we need a big gun to take on the new client. We need someone that's like in charge, take care of the client. But no, we're just going to send the third years, Carrie and Alicia, to take the client because they act like they're like vice presidents of the company.
Yeah, yeah. And this is when we are introduced to Nick Savarese. Did Nick Savarese look familiar to you?
I looked him up. Unless you have some sort of
I
secret
got
relation you
nothing.
have with this
No,
guy,
I got nothing.
his name is what's his name? Mark Warren. And he's not like, I looked him up and like nothing really stuck out to me. So it's like, okay, he's just an actor. Like not too. He's got a lot of credits, just not anything that I was like. He was in Band of Brothers. Like, there's nothing just really like stuck out to me as like, oh, you should know this guy from this. But he's an actor. I don't want to put any shame on Mark Warren's career, but it's just not someone that is well known. But I figured we should put his name out there because Nick's gonna be here
around
for a minute. So
unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nick is a tow truck guy who's trying to bid on a contract with the city. And he wants the firm to like help him decide who he should partner with because the city's not going to give this guy a contract because of stuff in his past. Mm-hmm. So he wants to partner with two different people. He's like, here you go. Here's two different people. Go ahead and vet them. And let me know who I should partner with. And Carrie's like, is this legal? Like, I don't know if we could do that.
Carrie's like, but Alicia, should we be doing this? Isn't this against the rules? And Alicia's like, grow up, Carrie. Alicia basically tells him to get lost, square. Like,
yeah.
Like, you know, like, I know you just came from the state's attorney's office and all your do-goodiness, but this is Lockhart and Gardner, baby. We do stuff on the edge around here. You're freaking square. Like, that's kind of Alicia tells, like, listen, if we weren't in the position we were in, we might not take this because number one, it seems like this is like not to the standard of Lockhart and Gardner. Yeah. But we're in dire straits, so we got to take this little guy's case. And yes, it may be a little like we may be trying to help him get into a loophole with the government due to his shadiness. Yes, that might be like tiptoeing on the ethical line. But listen, Carrie, this is Lockhart and Gardner. We don't just tiptoe the ethical line. We dance on that mile. Okay,
it's like we're the tightrope walkers. Like we are on the line all the time.
We jump all over that thing. Okay, we do that here. Like I don't know if you remember or not. We've gotten a lot shadier since you left. that's kind of what she's saying here. Like we have gone like we like you thought we were kind of gray. When you were here, we upped the shades a little bit. Okay, so
just wait till Lamont walks in.
Yeah, listen, just run with us, okay? Just you're gonna have to catch back up to speed. Carrie's like, yeah, I know. I'm still got a foot in the state attorney's office. I guess, like, yeah, you better get your foot out of there because there's gonna be a lot going on that you ain't gonna be cool with if you frightened about this, okay? There's a lot more shadier stuff we do, so get your big boy pants on, okay? Nut up, Carrie, nut up. It's like Alicia's telling, like, nut up, Carrie.
Sure, I'm pretty sure that's what she was saying. Yes. The time has come for Peggy to interview Alicia in Eli's office, which wasn't this like not supposed to be the site of campaign activity? Wasn't this supposed to be separate? I don't know. I'm kind of keeping my eyes on this because I was like, what is happening here? But Alicia interviews Peggy about like the separation and how she was there. They were separated when she was standing next to him when he announced he's running for governor. Again, she's doing her best, like one-word answers. Asked, like, are they living together? And she's like, we're mending fences. Are you living in the same room? And that's where she draws the line. And Peggy says, like, you've made your life public, haven't you? And this is when I love Alicia. Alicia's like, no, I didn't. My husband did. And Peggy's like trying to push her because like, don't you want to be progressive and like divorce him and everything? She's like, no, I don't want a divorce. I don't like breaking commitments. Peggy's like, well, isn't this taking women back to the 50s? And she's like, I'm not in the 50s. It's me. Like, this is my life. And so I appreciated this conversation. And the whole time, like, Eli is in the back, like, nervously, like, oh.
Yeah, Alicia's always at her best when she is taking up for herself and pushing against conventional, I guess, good wife means or whatever. And Peggy's kind of doing the opposite. She's kind of being like, "Aren't you sick of being the good wife? Don't you want to do something for yourself? Like, don't you like?" She uses the word, "Don't you think you look like a doormat if you know take Peter back?" And she's like, "Look, Peter is flawed. Everyone's flawed. I respect him as a husband, as a politician, and we're just trying to work things out. And yes, we separated while we were trying to work things out, but hey, we're working stuff out." And I think it kind of answers the question, like, because we left Alicia last season with it looking like she's trying to decide whether or not to embrace this family life in Peter's house because she was outside the house.
The
Well,
window or the
you're
Buick.
like,
The
yeah,
window or the Buick.
window or Buick. It looks like she's picking the window a little bit now. She's because she does say, "Yeah, I stay at his house. You know, me and the kids sometimes." So it's what because we had Zach season 3 finale being like, "Hey, just stay." We had Grace talking about like stay in the house. It could be like a commune. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to be staying just here separately. So it looks like Alicia's kind of embracing the commune life maybe and staying in the house a little bit with the kids.
But again, how much time has passed? How much
Right.
time has she had to live in Peter's house while Kalinda was sitting in the chair? You know,
Yeah,
like
we just don't know. We don't know.
we just don't know.
So yeah, but it does look like she's spending some time there with all the family in the same house. So that's a little bit of an answer to the questions we were wondering about at the end of the last season.
Yeah. Looks like Carrie's friend came through because Alicia is reviewing the dashboard camera film when Eli comes in and is like, it's not a good idea to have interviews when you're pissed. She's like, I wasn't pissed. And it's like, you're supposed to stay on message. And Alicia's like, yeah, okay, well, what's the message? And Eli's like, oh, yeah, okay, I'll do that. Also, I'm going to need you to do this thing. I'm going to need you to talk to the CWA next Thursday. Alicia's like, no, I work. It's like, yeah, well, Peter has free time on Tuesday. We'll talk about it then. She's like, whatever. But at this point, she wants to talk to Kalinda about a dog search. Like, don't you know someone who trains dogs? I need to talk to that person. But the whole Eli's thinking he's like it's like back to normal, like back to the first time, and it's not gonna be like that.
No. Yeah.
Diane and Will go ahead and tell everyone in the firm what has happened in court, and everyone's like, oh, rah, rah. And then, rabble. And then Will sees David as like, I thought you were gone. And he's like, oh, I wouldn't miss this. Such a David Lee response. But basically, Diane is explaining, we've been assigned a trustee. They're here to supervise our decisions. And yes, they can veto us, but hopefully they'll be on the same side. And and Will's like, don't worry, you're still going to get paid. And then someone pipes up from the back and he's like, hey, hi, it's me. I'm the trustee. My name is Clark Hayden. Nice to see you. And I was like, nice to see you too, Clark Hayden.
Yeah, Clark Hayden, aka Nathan Lane, who I feel like you haven't watched TV or movies if you don't know who Nathan Lane is. I think what would you say his like most famous? I think the producers on Broadway is definitely up there.
Birdcage, Lion King,
yes. So he's been everywhere, done everything. This is a pretty big get for the good wife for the Kings. Listen, also we can never forget Nathan Lane also popping up on last season of Elsbeth as
yep.
Not as his character, because we do that a lot. It was just different characters here. He was one of the murderers in Elsbeth last season. A very fun episode that he was in.
He loved the opera.
Yes, he was very particular about the opera.
The opera.
Yeah, so Nathan Lane's here. I assume that he will be sticking around for a little bit because he seems to be assigned to Lockhart Gardner to get them out of this bankruptcy to try and I guess liquidate some assets where need be.
Yeah, and he is coming in hot because he's walking around like looking at the art and he's like, "Do we need this?" And Will goes, "We have a very prestigious clientele, so if we take this away, they might question things." And I was like,
Yes, I'm
"Okay,
sure
Will."
if you took a painting out of the office, people would be like, "Oh, this place is so poor, so broke. You don't even have expensive paintings around." It's like, yes, Will. Yeah, sure.
And Clark says, "Okay, fine. We're going to meet separately and we're going to talk about reduction." And Will asks Diane, "Do you think we've hit bottom yet?" She's like, "Nope. This is
Mm,
just the beginning." Then we get a classic Zach tech montage because he's the only one who knows how to use technology. And
Zach the
also, it was,
Munchkins.
I am pretty sure this was product placement by the Mac OS 10 team because
Oh
it
yeah.
was a change of the interface. It was like the whole thing, the OS, like blah, blah, blah. They were there. Anyway, he he found a video. He found that you cannot video or you can videotape a cop, you just can't audio tape a cop or audio record a cop because of at this time in Illinois law, not currently in 2025. I want to be very clear that in 2025 you can record with your phone any police or activity or state activity that you may see in 2025. But back in 2012, you could
Can
only
and should.
yes, exactly. Um in 2012 you could only videotape, you could not audio tape them. And so he goes, "Hey ma, check this out. Like I didn't audio tape them because I had the Bluetooth hooked up to the car." Okay, like this car is the car we saw Owen driving across the country. It is a station wagon from like the 70s. How did this car have Bluetooth? I have
Well,
no idea.
there are devices that you can plug into like a cigarette
That
lighter
sure.
that
Sure,
will
sure.
allow you to play Bluetooth
On the radio
through the
frequency.
car. Yes, yeah.
Yes.
So
No, I
there are those
remember.
devices. They were probably pretty new back in 2012, but there are ways to do it.
But I think like in that case, he probably would have been better off with the audio cassette like into the
Oh my god,
as
yeah, you
opposed
remember
to
those?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Because that was the only way because the radio frequency was never really reliable for me. Like it would go in and
Mhm.
out and in and out. But anyway, he has this video with the actions of what happened, but the soundtrack is yeah. So the next thing we see, they are in court again in Madison County, 5 hours away from Chicago. They are in court. And we are introduced to ASA Allman, who ends up taking over the case because Alicia's like presenting all of this against Article 14, which says, basically Zach didn't do anything wrong because he didn't audio tape the officer. He just videotaped the officer and swoops in a new ASA and says, "Well, actually, we're going to charge him with obstruction of justice instead of Article 14. Like, wait, what? And
Yeah.
Alicia's like, "Your cops are dirty here, basically." And they're like, "We take that very seriously. So you're going to have to prove against it."
Yeah, I think it's interesting because there's one ASA argue or whatever you want to call it, ASA whoever arguing the case. This other ASA comes in, he's like, yeah, you stick to the
Bye.
side. I am the carry of of this county. This person was nobody. I'm stepping in to make sure this is done the right way. There's also another guy behind that guy
Yes.
that's
Who is the
obviously
Peter of Madison County?
yeah, it's obviously very invested to be like, we're gonna make sure we're doing this way that I want it to be done. So we're like, okay, we don't know who that guy is, but this guy is basically the head honcho of the ASAs. He's coming to take over. Now it's just like, okay, this is much more than it was a day ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
now they're bringing in the big guns, which Alicia clocks immediately and is like,
Yeah.
oh, you found out that my son is the son of the state's attorney. So now you're going to make this a thing.
Yeah. And Phil, the
Phil.
state's attorney of Madison County, is like, "No, we're just like following the law. But P.S. by the way, police love their pensions. Okay, bye." It's like,
Yeah.
so now Alicia's got to fight this charge. Back at the office in Chicago, Illinois, the dog handler shows Alicia, who was in Madison County, Illinois, just 2 seconds ago, about how false positives can happen, and she confirms that false positives or false positive did happen with Officer Rob here. He, with the prompting, basically got the dog to react in a way that would be seen as a positive when the dogs don't need any prompting to really do any of that. So we learned that. She's like, cool, thanks. And then we also get a little like, hey, Kalinda, see, I'm a good person. My dogs miss you. And at the same time, Kalinda sees Tow Truck Man go by.
I was not sure why every woman in Kalinda's life has to have been a woman that she slept with, flirted with, had some sort of relationship with. Can't she not just have a platonic friend relationship with people? Like
It's just
it's every
Alicia.
woman.
Alicia's the only one.
Yeah, I guess it's just why Kalinda has such a feeling of a bond to Alicia, because it's like she's the only one I've ever met that doesn't want to sleep with me. So like I have to keep this relationship a friend relationship, because it's so weird. Every single woman is like, this is chemistry. Like, oh yeah, those dogs didn't like me when I was around. It's like, okay, yeah, we get it. You slept with this person. Oh my god! Like, can you just not have a true friend? Yeah, I don't know if it's the pheromones, it's the thing that
It's
Kalinda
something.
exudes that
It's the
people just
Kalinda
like.
effect.
Yeah, because I remember one time we were like, it was one of the hospital cases where Kalinda was talking to a nurse, and the nurse is just like a random person is like, "Hey, you want to go get a drink sometimes?" Like, no, I just want to be a normal person that talks to people normally. But yeah, it's very interesting. But yeah, I like the demonstration that the dog trainer person put on. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
if I want the dog to give a false positive, there are things I can do to make a dog give a false positive by like encouraging the dog to give a false positive, which is what we heard Officer Rob doing at the stop.
Yep. Yep. And Alicia's like, cool, thanks. I gotta go talk to Tow Truck Man. So she goes and she talks to Tow Truck Man with Carrie, and they're like, yeah, we vetted them both. Like, go with this guy. It's like, because he's black. It's like, yeah,
Yeah, basically.
yeah, pretty much. And he's like, oh, well, who vetted them? And they're like, our investigator. Can I talk to him? Her. You can talk to her. And they tried to go get her, and the dog trainer lady is like, she's gone. She just stepped out. And so they're like, well, we'll have to set up another meeting. And Nick makes his way to the elevator, and then out of nowhere, Kalinda comes, and they have an elevator fight in. Okay, first of all, like, I don't know, like, I know they probably have a freight elevator, right? Okay, but this is like a freaking huge elevator.
Uh-huh.
And
I mean, I isn't it should be the same elevator of love, right? I mean, listen,
no,
what
the elevator of love was at the hotel.
I mean, this is the elevator of flirting, right? It's like, because literally
Sure,
she flirted in this elevator.
sure.
But listen, this is not only like not what this show is, but you're
Correct.
also like sullying elevators. Like
Elevators are holy places on this
elevators are
show.
only for love, right? Like
Yeah.
that's what the elevators are in this show. So how could you sully elevators by having this like really cringy
It was
fight?
so dumb. It was like
It was
so
so dumb.
dumb. This whole fight. And then of course, okay, so it gets to the parking garage and Nick like steps out. And I was like, close the door, Alicia, and just or Kalinda, and just go upstairs. And no, Nick has to do like the Karate Kid, like, come here, like the
Come
do
on, bring
yeah.
it on. Like,
Yeah.
oh
While
God.
standing on an AstroTurf, a piece of AstroTurf. I have no idea. Like, this was so weird. It was so out of place. It was so random.
I want to talk to the designer of Lockhart and Gardner offices to figure out who's buying the expensive paintings, first of all. Who is deciding to put down AstroTurf at the elevator banks? Is this like supposed to be like an
Like,
inviting thing?
do
Like,
dogs go there? Is that why they're there? Like,
it's so
what could it
weird.
be there
It's so
for?
weird. But yeah, the fight, the elevator fight was just like, this is what we're doing. We're looking like we had Archie Punjabi in fight choreo for
I
however many
guess
days
over
to
the
figure this
summer,
out.
so she could go sit back in the chair and then kick people's
Like,
butts. I guess.
like Archie, you're gonna have to do fight choreography. It's like this. What? This is a
I'm an
good wife.
investigator.
Yeah, this is a good wife, not freaking NCIS or some other whatever other show. Like, why are we having fist fights on this show? It was so out of place. And we cautioned you, audience, on the season finale, like, This is one of the most hated storylines in Good Wife history, and I think you saw partly why in this episode of like what this is going to bring, how this is going to be. But just stick with it's going to be a part of the show. It's not going to take up the whole show, but it is going to be. You're going to be like. Whereas we used to see Kalinda be like, "Oh yay, Kalinda storylines." Now we're going to kind of be like, "Oh, it's Kalinda's time. Oh, great." It's not going to last forever. It's going to be here for a little bit. Just stick with it.
Yeah, good PSA. Back at the apartment, the kids and Elite are getting ready to go to Peter's, and Grace is like, "I'm going to take this poster. It's Dad's because my wall's empty." And then she's like, "No, I'm not. I'm going to leave it here." There was that weird moment, but then Zach,
what was that moment? I was like, "Why? Why was this?" I thought it was like a foreshadowing of something that was going to happen. I was like,
"No."
That was just a
She's
random
like,
moment.
"No, I'm going to keep it here because this is my home." Like, I think like she's trying to decide like where's her home.
Yeah, I guess.
But meanwhile, Zach is like, "Hey, Ma, I basically did some investigation on Reddit and found out that there were more people that have gotten pulled over by Officer Rob. Here's their names and numbers. All you have to do is call them, or here's their names and numbers." Alicia's like, "Oh my God, I'm so impressed by you. Like, this is amazing." And Alicia's like, "Cool, I'll call them tomorrow." And Zach's like, "No, I already." And Alicia's like, "You called them?" He's like, "No, I Skyped them."
Yeah, Mom, you stupid idiot, you stupid boomer. I Skyped them over the internet, over the computer. You can talk to me on the computer now, Mom. I didn't call them. It's like, okay, we get it. You are a technology wonderkind because you were doing things that in 2025 2-year-olds know how to do.
Yeah, exactly.
In this moment in time.
Exactly. But he basically found a pattern with the people that were being pulled over. They were usually out of town cars. They were pulled over with some sort of suspicion and then like impounded. It was, I forget what she called it, but it's a corridor where this is like
a forfeiture corridor.
Forfeiture corridor.
It's a place where cops know they can get some good stuff if they pull cars over for any minor infraction. They use any type of random stupid suspicion to pull cars over and take whatever they want from these cars.
Yeah. Before the kids leave the house, Peter and Alicia and Eli is really trying to be in this conversation. Mm-hmm. Have a little chat, and Alicia's like, "Again, Peter, I don't want any kids at the event. Got it here." Like, and then they have a conversation like, "Do we live together? Is that what we're saying? I think we should say we're working on it." And she's like, "Well, are we working on it?" And I was like, "Oh my God, Alicia, just don't do this. Just don't do this."
And listen, credit to Peter, right? Like, listen, I don't know. We can talk at the end if there's any if there's any fraction of stars to be given here, to be given or taken away. I don't know. But to Peter's credit, because I think the Peter of like season 2 would jump on this and be like, yeah, I like we're working on it. Let's get back together. I do think he's giving a little more agency to Alicia to be like, I don't want to push it. I don't want to pressure you. We'll just say we're working on it. I don't want to make it look like I'm trying to do something. We'll just work on it. Because I think the desperate Peter of season 2 to get back in Alicia's good graces would be like, yes, like we're getting back together. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Thing. But now I think he's being a little more cool, being a little more laid back. Because I think he knows that's what Alicia will respond to. I think Peter has learned in these seasons to not put pressure on Alicia because that's just going to make it worse.
I'm glad he has brain cells and has found a pattern that he can use to his advantage. That is great for him. And that is all I will say about that. At this point, Alicia's like, "Okay, I got to tell you about this thing that's going on because it affects you now." So she like tells him. Peter's like, "Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to take care of it." And she's like, "I'm handling it. Like, don't do anything." Meanwhile, Zach outside is like, "I want to help with the campaign." And Eli's like, "No."
I love it. It was like, Eli has no discussion. She's like, "No, just no.
No.
You're not. I don't want to hear it." Because I mean, remember, like before, when we had a state's attorney's campaign, Zach actually kind of came in clutch.
Yeah.
For the campaign. But I think Eli just doesn't want a chance. Eli's like, "No, I don't need an Encyclopedia Brown.
No kids.
Yeah, no kids.
No kids.
Yeah, he knows if he tries, even he gets a hint of the kids helping, Alicia will be all over him. She's like, nope, not even going to discuss it. You're not helping.
Back at the office, Will and Diane sit down to talk about their chat with Clark. And they both got the same speech basically of like, hey, don't you think it'd be easier if like only one person was making the decisions? And Diane tells this to Will and was like, yeah, I got the same one too. And he said, don't you think it's time for a man to be in charge?
Yeah, because
And Diane was like, he did not say man.
Yeah, we saw Clark's conversation with Diane where he's like, maybe Will's just a better as a lawyer. Maybe he doesn't need to be a name partner. Maybe it would be easier, save more money if he was just a lawyer. As if Will would take that.
Yeah.
As if Diane went to Will, was like, hey, you know what? Actually, I think we should take your name off of the name of the firm and maybe just be a lawyer for us. As if Will would say, you're right, Diane. Okay.
No.
As if he wouldn't throw a hissy fit, take all the clients he could, and start his own thing. Like Clark, I know you don't know Will, but that will not fly with William Gardner. Okay, it won't work. But yeah, like Clark threw this to her of being like, hey, maybe it should just be you. Like, right? Maybe you should just be making all the decisions. And so yeah, we don't see that conversation with Will. Will comes in to Diane is like, hey, so
oh, this is a total Will play. Like Will just shadow like it was like, yeah, I said the same thing. And then like the man like I don't know if that conversation actually happened or if Will is using this to his advantage.
I think it probably happened because Clark is trying to suss everyone out here. Clark's trying to get the temperature on everything and everyone so he can do what he needs to do to, I guess, reduce the firm's liabilities, increase the assets, whatever he's working on doing. But I like Will coming in like, so what'd you talk to Clark about? Will's not looking to provide information. Will's looking to see how honest Diane's going to be with him and be like, well, so what did you hear? Are we going to be back in like cold civil war or what? And Diane is honest with Will, and Will's like, oh, okay, good, you're being honest. Now, if you're being honest, I can be honest and say he did the same thing to me. It's like,
yeah, that's
interesting. And I do like he's like, because he says Clark said there needs to be a man at the top, and I was like, yeah, he really said that, and I was like, nah, I just said that to piss you off.
That was great. And they come to the conclusion that they're going to need David Lee to continue because he brings in the money. Like they're going to need him and also can act as like a tiebreaker between the two of them and be a little bit more balanced.
And I think it's been known that David Lee brings in a bunch of money.
Yeah.
So they're going to need him in order to crawl back out of this hole because if they don't have his funds and what he brings in, they're going to be at even worse straits here.
Yep. Back on the campaign bus, mob boss Peter is back. He calls up Phil over in Madison County and is like, look, you come after my son, I'm going to go after your son. Your son's at where? Oh, the University of what? Chicago? Okay. And Phil's like, so we're threatening each other now? And Peter is like, no, I am threatening you.
Bitch. You say bitch, but I heard bitch at the end of that. It's like, oh my God. Like, yeah, see, Peter's in his, I will end you bag, which I know upsets you. I know you're pissed at it, but I think in this case is very warranted. I was all for mob boss Peter in this context because, yeah, this guy started it.
Well, okay, yes, but okay, I have some thoughts on this. Yeah, but also, like, let Alicia ask for help. Don't butt in. Like that's
yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying, Marissa, but like that's hard to do when you're like Peter.
When it's your kid. Yeah.
When it's your kid, when you feel like you want to do whatever it is you feel like is in your power to help your kid. And this is Peter we're talking about, who does not have great impulse control.
No. Yeah, because he's basically tells Phil, like, what you're going to do is you're going to drop the case, you're going to expunge the arrest, and then you're going to have that stupid officer man call and apologize to my son. And Phil's like, okay, give me a day. And
Phil got the threat. He's like, oh, okay, well, I will do whatever it is you just said to do because you literally just threatened the livelihood of my son. So, and I know that you like, I mean, Peter kind of tells him like, I am the freaking state's attorney for Cook County, and I'm looking to be the governor of Illinois. You
Mhm.
really want to piss me off? Is this
Well,
really what you want to do, my G?
and Cook County is like
The
has the
county.
most money.
Yeah,
Like it
he's like,
really like does things, and also like when he's governor, he'll have control over state funds. So it's
yeah.
like,
He's like,
what are you gonna do?
he's like, bruh. I think he even says, I am in the county that matters.
Yes.
Okay. You
Yeah.
are
I mean,
in
oh,
Madison County, my G. Like you are nobody and nothing. You dare step to the big dog? Like, because I mean, Phil was like, hey, tell your husband that the police loves their pensions. Like, did you think that was gonna go over? Did you think that was gonna go well, sir? No, you don't do
no,
that to Peter effing Floric. I don't know what Peter's middle name is, but it's probably effing.
it's
You don't do
probably
that to
effing.
Peter
Yeah.
effing Floric. Okay.
Yeah.
I know that you're hating on Peter for this. I am like, get it, big dog. Get it. Like this, I approve of this menacing, threatening tone. I like this.
Well, it's a free country for now. For now, you can disagree
For
with
this
me.
for this
Yeah.
week, it's a free country. Next
Yeah.
week we'll
Yeah.
see.
Check back in next week and see
Yeah.
what happens. So, and he kind of like knows that this isn't great though, because he's like, it's done.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about it. Like,
Yeah,
moving
because
on.
Eli, he did not consult Eli on this because Eli's
No.
like
And
in the
Eli's
back
like
of the bus.
there.
Eli's in the back of the bus and he hears Peter doing. He's like, "Wait, what? What are you doing?" Like, "Oh no, don't do that." Like if Eli thought he'd get away with it, Eli would have taken the phone and thrown it out the bus. Like, no, we're not doing that. But he knows not to mess with Peter in this mode that Peter's in because Eli sits down and looks at Peter like, you know, you
What?
should have done that, right? Like, you know, that wasn't a good idea. Peter's like, hey, I did it. It's done. I don't hear no more about it.
I have a theory, and I don't remember if this theory is true or not, but I wonder if Phil talked to Mike Christiva, and I wonder if they knew that this would get this reaction from Peter, and I wonder if he was recording his phone call.
I mean,
Like,
the vibe that I
or
got,
it will come back to get him in some way.
possibly, because the vibe they got from Phil was that Phil was not expecting this. Phil's
Yeah.
like, oh, I stepped in it. Let me fix it. So yeah, it's possible that we could see Phil again, and Phil could like team up with Mike Christiva to get this out there that Peter used his privilege. I mean, it's a word that's come up several times in this in this episode to step on Phil's neck and make Phil do what he wants to do. That could definitely come back to bite Peter in the butt. I could definitely see that happening.
Yeah. Then we have a Peter or a Kalinda Nick. I might end up hating more than Peter this season. I don't know, but Kalinda and Nick reunion.
Apparently, from the elevator parking garage fight, we went right to
bed.
effing.
Yeah, like right there, and he's like, "I'm here. I'm becoming a tycoon," and again, like I don't really even want to talk about it.
I mean, yeah. Well, Nick is looking around Kalinda's apartment, which is
And drinking her milk out of the fridge,
which she had just one carafe of milk in the refrigerator, which is the only thing in the refrigerator. I was like, that's a choice. I almost thought like it was just going to be a one and done for Nick Savarese. That she put some poison in that milk and was like, there's one thing I know about. There's one thing I know about Nicky Savarese is he likes to have milk after he's done effing. So I want to put some antifreeze in this milk, and I'm gonna kill Nick because a carafe of milk is a weird thing to just have in your refrigerator as the only thing.
Nick is like, there's nothing here.
Yeah, and Clinton's like, yeah, I knew you were coming, so I put everything in storage, you jerk, because I knew if I had, I don't know, dishes, you'd steal my dishes. Like, why did you have to put everything in storage, Kalinda? Like, what happened? As bare bones as we saw her apartment was last time, apparently also Kalinda has no light bulbs in the house, because anytime we see Kalinda in this house, it's just been dark. There's no lights in this house. So she's like, yeah, I took everything out. I took the light bulbs out. I took the dishes out. Everything's out because I didn't want you touching none of my stuff. I didn't want you taking none of my stuff. And then, I'll go through this segment since you don't want
Thank
to
you.
And so, yeah, they're done effing. Kalinda's going into the bathroom, I guess. Nick's walking around, drinking out of this carafe of milk, by the way, because he's got to drink out of the carafe because there's no glasses. He just has to drink right out of the thing.
Yeah,
And he's
I mean,
like,
water doesn't work.
yeah, and he comes back. He comes back into the bedroom, and Kalinda's just sitting on the bed with a gun pointed at him. Again, it's just this weird attempt to go into a genre that was not meant for. And Nick sits down in the bed. He's like, "You like this tattoo? It's a midnight sun, right? It signifies a new beginning, right?
Okay, he's English. He's not like Irish or whatever.
Well, whatever. Okay. Let me work it out. Let me work it out." He's like, "This is my new tattoo, right? It's a midnight sun, right? So it signifies a new beginning, isn't it, right?" And he tells her,
Oh,
he said, Kalinda, you kind of like this. You could have run, but you stayed. So, I mean, obviously this isn't over. He gets dressed. He does his little strut over to the door, and he walks away. It's just like, what are we doing here, guys?
yeah, like what? Exactly. I'm just like, okay, great. This is gonna be so fun. Back in the office, Will's just waiting for Alicia on her couch in her office. She walks in, she's like, "Oh, hey, I haven't seen you in
Never
a
a good
bit."
sign. It's never a good sign.
Yeah, it's like, "Oh, we've just been in separate worlds for the
This episode,
unknown amount of time between the
yeah,
last episode and this one."
yeah. We've been in separate worlds this one episode, even though I was literally in bankruptcy court with you, but okay,
Yeah,
we've been in
yeah.
separate worlds.
I don't know. But she Will's like, "You had an interview the other day, yeah?" He's like, "Yeah." Like, "Well, now Peggy wants to interview me." And Alicia's like, "Huh.
Hmm.
Well, she
Hmm.
probably just wants to know like how we work together." It's like, "Yeah, I thought that too. I tried to pass her off to Diane, but no, she really wants to talk to me." Like, "Do you think she knows what's going on?" And he leaves basically saying, as he leaves, Alicia's like, "You know, I wonder if you shouldn't talk to her." And Will's like, "Yeah, I got it."
Yeah,
And we
no
also
duh.
learned that like his suspension ends that night.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, Alicia, thanks for the for the advice. I was not going to talk to her because this is a trap. I know this is a trap. I don't know who Peggy been talking to, but Peggy knows to talk to Will about something, which I think leads us to some questions about like, does someone know about it?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
who has Peggy been talking to? Because listen, just because I say in a grand jury thing that I'm gonna keep my mouth shut, I don't know if I can keep my lid off this hot goss. Be like, listen,
Well,
I was in a
and
grand jury
exchange for
case.
what? And
Even even not in exchange or nothing, I might be like, hey, bruh, listen to what I heard this grand jury case. I'm not supposed to talk about it, but apparently this big wig guy at this law firm been effing one of his people. Like, I don't know if I'd be able to keep my hot gossip myself. So the fact this got out may not be a surprise because in that grand jury case, all the details came out. So listen, there was a bunch of people in that courtroom. So
that's true.
it might have gotten out some kind of way. I don't know. I can't remember. But I just wonder if this came out like publicly at some point, and will it
No,
come
that
out?
was the whole thing. She was like really, oh, you mean like at some point in the
Yeah,
future?
in the future. Yeah,
I can't remember. I just have one scene that we haven't seen in my head
yeah.
that I don't want to spoil
Interesting.
people on.
Mm.
Um okay. So after okay, David Lee. Okay, David Lee. I love to hate David Lee. Not as I just love to hate him.
Well, so yeah,
So
that's the difference between a David Lee and a Peter.
yeah.
Like we hate to hate Peter because Peter's so terrible. We love to hate David Lee. He's
Love
he's
to hate David Lee.
he's your curmudgeonly uncle that you have to
Like a little
suffer
weasel.
with in the holidays,
Also.
which you kind of
Yeah.
like. You kind of enjoy it because it's like, oh, you're so evil, you're so wrong, but you're so wrong in a funny way though.
Yeah, it's like, oh. So Clark sits down with David Lee and he calls David a creditor and not a partner. And David explains that he put up $1 million in capital contribution. His yearly draw is 5%. And so he's owed approximately like $3 million that he hasn't been paid. And Clark's like, great. Since you're on your way out, when you leave, the percentage changes to 1.5. And also, because you won't be a partner, you'll be a creditor. You'll get 5 cents on the dollar. And David Lee's like, wait, what? And Clark's like, yeah, after we get rid of, or after we pay off the furniture and the water and the art and everything else, then you will get 5 cents on the dollar of what is left of that. And David Lee's like, why? And Clark's like, I don't like people who quit. Like, it's that simple.
Yeah, I love
it was great.
It's not often that David Lee gets this served on this level, because David thinks he's got it made. David's like, I am jumping off the sinking ship before it sinks completely, and I'm taking what I'm owed, which is $3 million, and I'm leaving this shithole before
I'm out.
I go down with it. And Clark's like, not so fast, buddy, not so fast. I love this because you're not going to be an employee. You're gonna you transition from an employee to someone we owe money to, and because of this bankruptcy thing, we don't have to pay you all we owe you as a creditor since you're not an employee anymore. So hey, good riddance. See you later. And I love that it makes it clear that Clark's not only here to be a nooge, right? He's also, we can use Clark to our advantage.
Yeah.
Certain things. So I love that.
At one point in this episode, Will calls Clark like Mao Zedong, like basically like oh, Mao's here. And then like at the end of this, after the resolution, when they find out that David Lee is staying, like, oh, I guess Mao's okay if he's working for you. Because they were like, I don't know how we're gonna get David back on board. I don't know what's gonna happen. And this Clark just kind of like works in the background.
Yeah, I love that David, when David comes and tells him, like, hey, like, you see David walk in the office with a scowl on his face, and then he walks to Diane's office, like, hey, with a fake smile, like, hey, guess what, guys, I'm staying. Yeah, you've been loyal to me, so I have to be loyal to you back. So I'm going to be here to stay. He turns and walks out Diane's office, has a scowl on for the approximately 5 seconds at Diane's office to Will's office, to the fake smile again, like, hey, guess what, I'm staying. Yeah, I'm here. Thanks, guys. See you in a bit, and scowls right back as he leaves Will's office. Love that.
Well, and then like Diane and Will are like, huh? What? Okay. Back in Madison County in court, Alicia argues that the stops are being made to make the county money because basically the drugs come from Canada, so north to south. I don't know where this is coming from. Sorry, Canada. I don't really know if that's true. And then,
this just in: the Kings hate Canada.
I was like, what is happening? But the stops are being made on the north side, going from the south to the north. So Missouri, Madison County to the north, Chicago, and 90% of these stops are happening on the north side, meaning that they are trying to stop and get the money from the drugs, not necessarily the drugs themselves. Yeah. And so she puts this in court as like a big oops, and like not a oops for her, but a big oops for the Madison County team.
Yeah, because Madison County's whole contention is that, hey, we're trying to stop the drugs.
We have a drug problem.
Yeah, we have a drug problem from the illegals. Sound familiar?
God. God.
But Alicia's like, yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't think you're trying to stop the drugs. You're trying to just steal the money from the drugs. You're not stopping drugs. You're just profiting off the drug sales. You're not stopping the drugs. You're profiting off the drugs. So, what about that?
Well, and in Zach's really impressive internet research, he found that not only did one person got pulled over because they had just like an unfinished joint in their possession, and then someone else had $10,000 taken from them. So this is definitely part of the plan. This pisses Phil off so much that he's able to find Peter's bus
and to get on the bus.
Get on the bus.
Like, I don't know who let Phil on the bus, because Phil's just on the bus and Peter gets in the bus. Like, oh, Phil's here? Why is Phil here? Who let Phil on the bus?
And Phil's like, you came after our corridor. And I love this. I love this so much. I love when Peter has no idea what's going on. When he's getting yelled at something he has no idea that's happening because
Chris
like
Knopf,
this is
Chris Knopf
all
has a great confusion face. He's like,
yeah.
huh?
What? I
What?
have no idea. What are you talking about? And Phil basically says, you can come after my corridor, I'll come after yours. And again, I don't really know where any of this is because none of it makes geographic sense. Back at the office, Alicia goes to talk to Kalinda and says, hey, tow truck guy's coming in. He wants to talk to you. Can you like do that? And Kalinda's like, what? Like, I guess he is sticking around. I guess this is gonna be bad. And as she leaves that meeting, she's like, hey, good job with the video. I would have never thought of that, like, and again, I love it when adults don't know what's going on. Alicia's like, what? What video? P.S. By the way, Zach has made a YouTube video calling Officer Rob a real putz. Like basically puts this whole thing together, and it's getting views upon views upon views. We see Alicia see it, we see Eli see it, we see people in Madison County see it, and Zach is just sitting in his room, gets a little phone call from Officer Rob. It's like, I was wrong. We're dropping the case and expunging the arrest. I'm going now. Goodbye. And then the next thing we see Zach do is pull up porn.
Bruh. Hilarious. Because, this whole episode was like, Zach's such a good boy. Zach is such like a paragon of truth and virtue, and he's such a smart little boy. But he's also a teenage boy. And he does teenage boy things that teenage boys do on the internet. So I loved that little piece that they threw in there. Because, like, no, Zach is not like this extraordinary teen who's never done anything bad. He's still looking at porn because he's a child. Listen, I never did that.
Obviously.
I've never. The only thing I've ever used the internet for is StreamYard and doing this podcast. Only thing I've ever used the internet for.
That's it.
That's any podcast I've done on
how
the internet,
do you look?
That's the only reason I use Encyclopedia
okay.
Britannica, old fashioned ways, Marissa. I've never used the internet for anything illicit or odd. But yeah, I love that it shows just like, no, Zach's just a teenage kid as well. He's a smart teenage kid, but he's also just a teenage boy.
He is still a putz. Like, he's a putz. At the end of the episode, we see Diane tell Clark, Will's not going anywhere. He's here. And basically, Clark's like, cool, be ready to work tomorrow because we're going to have to get rid of 30% of the people if that's your decision. So that's going to be fun. And Diane's like, oh, okay, gotta go. And swoops on over to Will's office where he is counting down to when he will be a lawyer again. Clink, clink, you're a lawyer, just like that. And then I had to write this line down. Will says, odd year, huh? And then Diane says, I think we're heading towards an even odder one.
As look into the camera and wink. Season 4 is going to be a rolling, y'all.
And also, like, relatable content. Like, just so good.
Well, yeah, for sure.
And Alicia's coming around the corner and she's got her champagne, but then she just, like, leaves it and lets them have their little moment. And at the end of this episode, we do see in memory of Tony Scott, Ridley Scott's brother, who they had worked on the show together as producers. So R.I.P. Tony Scott. Thanks for getting this one off the ground.
Yeah, Tony.
So that's season 4 starters.
Yeah, well, I wanted to circle around to the Alicia with the champagne.
Yeah.
Do we think Alicia was trying to get back with Will?
Yeah. Well, they had that thing. Well, first of all, I hope she is because, I can't stand Peter. But they had that elevator moment last episode where they were like, do you think it's wrong? No, I don't think it was wrong.
Yeah, and I think Alicia earlier in this episode was trying to get like clarity from Peter, and Peter's like, we'll just play it by ear. And Alicia's like, I mean, so yeah, maybe I can still do a thing with Will. Oh, who knows? I mean, it's out there in the public knowledge that we're separated, so it's not as if
I'm not sneaking around anymore.
Scandal. I mean, it would still be a scandal because still you are technically still Will's subordinate. So there's that part of it. And so like the face Alicia made as she like left the champagne there, she's like, yeah, this was probably a bad idea anyway. So I'm glad Diane being here stopped me. So I don't know. I didn't know what to read from that. I was like, was she thinking about reigniting things with Will?
I think she I think she's trying to find out what to do in
Mhm.
both cases because like she's not getting anything from Peter. So she's like, okay, well, let me see what's going on with Will.
Yeah.
And then there's this, celebration already happening and she can't go in and, interrupt with Diane because that's the least that they need right now. Like the least thing that they
Diane's
need.
like, hey, I told y'all to cut it the F out, okay? Don't be coming in here with champagne. I know what that leads to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, I listen. I think it's a good table setting for season 4. I think we've got what our conflicts are going to be for at least a good part of the beginning of the season.
We've got our firm stuff, trying to find $6 million. How are we going to do that? How are they going to get back on board with the decision making? We've got Kalinda Wick happening,
Yes.
and
Peter's campaign issues.
Peter's campaign, and then just like Carrie and Alicia in the new world, I guess.
Yeah. So, which I think is going to be a lot of the firm stuff is going to all be intertwined in there. Yeah. So, the Kalinda stuff, especially knowing what's to come in that storyline, is just like it's kind of a bad harbinger. But I think for the most part, everything kind of worked
Yeah.
well in this. I like the interplay between all the plots kind of coming together. So we'll see where we go from here. It's going to be it's going to be an odd year. So yeah, we'll see where we line up on that. Marissa, do you want to
Yeah.
tell the good folks out there where they can find you and what you're up to?
You can find me at itsmemarissag.com where I have links to all of the other podcasts that I'm on, including the YouTube channel for this one. If you're not watching us on YouTube, that's a little extra special treat. You get to see our lovely faces and our weird facial expressions when, at least mine, when we're talking about Peter. Um, Also, I am over on Whirlwind Podcast talking about Pretty Little Liars, one previously on at a time. We are starting season 4, should be released over there. Otherwise, I'm talking with my sister about Star Trek The Next Generation on our podcast, The USS Sisterhood. All of those links again can be found at It's Me, Marissa G. And also, just another PSA: wear your sunscreen, SPF 30 plus. Be good to yourself. You don't want to not. Jason, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can always find me over on the Perfect Match podcast over on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/A Perfect Match podcast. You can find it there. Me and Asia Welch are talking about Married at First Sight. We are talking about season 11 of that show. It's an older season. We are kind of in a holding pattern until we get news about the new season. So we're over on Patreon chopping it up about an old season. Love is Blind is going to be coming very, very soon. If you're hearing this on the day it releases, it will be here in a couple days. So
Oh my goodness.
me, Asia Welch, and Mary Krukowski will be back to talk about all the goings on in this Love is Blind season. So check us out on Rob Has a Podcast on the Love at First Sight feed to check that coverage out. This past week, I was over on the 90 Day Fiance wrap up with my friend Puya to talk about that. To talk about 90 Day Fiance, if you go to We Know 90 Day Fiance, you will find that. Other than that, that's about it. We got a lot coming. I got a lot coming with the Love is Blind, the Elsbeth, got this Perfect Match. Lots going on. So stick with me as I take you through all the nonsense of TV.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So with all that covered, season 4, episode 1 in the books. Until next time, stay good.